Now, happiness, well, if you live in Darlington, you might be thinking about selling your house. Are you thinking? Are you rubbing your chin and going, should I? Well, now might be the right time to do so, as property experts are expecting a boom in the market. Now, Martin Williamson, he's a director at Latimer Hinks Solicitor in the town, says there's been a perfect storm of stamp duty holiday, people with itchy feet, and also the Treasury coming to Darlington to boost sales and rentals. So I spoke to him earlier this morning to see what was going on.
It's been a real surprise, actually. I think everybody involved in the industry, if you can call it that, was really surprised that instead of the market just grinding to a halt with the pandemic, once the effect of the first lockdown had people had come to terms with that, actually the property market started to show a great deal of resilience. And with the measures the government took, the stamp duty relief coming into to play, in fact, levels of transactions just rose and rose and rose. And it's been, certainly the last 6 months have been probably the busiest period I can remember. In a longish career, yeah.
Wow. We've been at home like a lot, and people are sort of looking around thinking, I could do with a change here. I can't fancy moving. And then like going on to the websites and looking around for houses and thinking, right, it's time for a change. Is that sort of moved people on a bit?
I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Gary. Yeah, I think there's a lot of that going on. And I think in some people's mind, it's been a case of life's too short, we live in a difficult, strange world. We've always had these plans. Will we ever see them come to fruition? We better get on and get it done.
And the other side of that as well, a lot of people working from home maybe need that little bit of space from maybe a home office where their whole life has changed. And there's been so many things sort of poured into this. What is this doing for prices? I'm assuming driving them up.
Well, yes. The evidence on that is pretty sketchy at the moment, but what evidence there is definitely showing that there are now noticeable increases in property values. I think, or sale prices. I think in our region, in the month March to April, the figure was something like 2.1%, something like that, increase in house prices. I mean, obviously, demand generally has an effect on increasing prices. Whether or not this will be across the board is a difficult thing to pin down. You mentioned there before people are thinking of moving for perhaps reasons to do with space. There's been a great demand on rural property as people have wanted to move out of denser urban areas and get themselves more space. So the fluctuations or the areas in which the rises are noted are a bit patchy perhaps, but very definitely all the indicators are that prices are on the rise.
Does it help as well that we've had government announcements for our part of the world which have just been like amazing, like the Treasury coming to Monte Darlo, the free port status that's been handed out to T-Sport, that it will attract good jobs to our patch. That's going to attract people to our area who will go to one housing stock.
Absolutely, yeah. I think you're right. I think everybody's feeling a sense of buoyancy about this. I sometimes think we need just to pinch ourselves because, political decisions like this, sometimes they don't happen exactly as they've been planned. But if it does go according to plan, well, then obviously it's good news for everybody. And it's going to, I think, have the effect of sustaining this, if you like, property boom that's being experienced all over the country, probably sustaining it in the northeast, in these areas which are going to be benefited by these government announcements a little bit more. And of course, the government also made an announcement recently about extending help for first-time buyers with a Help to Buy equity loan details lasting through to 2023, which might help first-time buyers at the lower end of the market, which is another very important factor in making sure that the benefits are felt over the whole sector.
And that's the key, isn't it? Because, as the top end goes up, the bottom end rises too, and that 10% deposit you need becomes out of reach for a lot of people.
And nothing works if you don't have people coming onto the ladder at the bottom.
Yeah, absolutely. So how do you, with your crystal ball here, Martin, how do you see the next 12 to 24 months panning out for the housing market?
Well, we mentioned earlier on that the effects of all of this may vary across the country. I mean, there are those who, will tell you that the effect of the pandemic and the amount of money that the government's had to spend, which we'll all have to pay for this by one means or another, mean that, perhaps darker days are on the horizon at some point. Whether or not we're going to feel them here in the northeast, with the benefits that are going to come to us from the relocation of the government departments and the issues that we've talked about, remains to be seen. But there is absolutely nothing at the moment to suggest that we're not, in our area at least, going to see, hopefully, a sustained level of activity in the property market and prices rising, if not spectacularly, gradually. But what we don't want is either a great boom where prices rocket, or alternatively, what we don't want, of course, is a recession coming along and prices beginning to fall. So at the moment, this steady as you go sort of feeling there is in the market, with a sense of optimism, is probably where we want to be.
Absolutely, and we don't want sort of late 80s, early 90s interest rates of 13.5%, because that will scupper everything.
Absolutely, when again, there's no sign of that on the horizon for the time being, thankfully.
Amen. Look, You're an absolute diamond, and thanks for speaking to us this morning, Martin.
Okay, my pleasure, Gary, yeah.
Take care, my friend.